Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sling'n Proffet podcast.
We're back.
Super Bowl edition. We took the week off last week, as I anticipated. Prophet, I'm just trying to correct some. The Facebook again. This is not. It's just not being nice to us, and it's really bothering me. I want to let people know that we're live. It's not coming up on our page that we're live, so it's frustrating to me.
Well, I mean, I feel alive.
I feel alive. The most alive I've felt in a while. With all the sicknesses and whatnot running around the house. But
yeah, you actually have your normal pasty color back tonight.
What color was I before?
Pasty. No, before you were a little yellowish.
Oh, maybe I was jaundiced. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
I had some issues going on, but I'm going to keep talking. We're talking to an empty room, and I just think it's because nobody knows that we're live yet. Where's Mrs. Prophet? Does she know we're live?
I believe she does.
It just hasn't popped up.
I told her.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe
we'll just keep going.
We'll keep going. That's okay because I have plenty of winners for everybody, so people will be watching.
What we got? Prop bet mania tonight?
Nah, you know what? I mean, I'm only putting out 3. You know, the rest will be for my profiteers. But yeah, I got 13 plays right now that I'm looking at for the weekend. Yeah, and then
all right. Well, I'm just putting out a blanket Facebook post that says we're live. Click on the red blinking icon because our icon is blinking that we're live. Just usually pops up on the page, says live now, join in or whatever. I don't know, and it hasn't done that, but nonetheless, we'll move forward. People are going to come back and watch later anyway, so no sense of worrying about who's here yet and who's not.
Right.
Although I want the people that are waiting for the show. I know we got a ton of people lined up at the door that commented on the show last time. Hey, keep doing what you're doing, stuff like that. So
yeah, but
anyway, we got a lot to talk about today. Well,
it might be like a party though. You never want to be the first one into the party. It doesn't look good.
Yeah,
that's what's happening right now.
What do we call that? We call that
hey, Larry.
Hey, that's what we'll call. Hey, they're trickling in now. We're trickling in now. Larry's probably going to say that there was no notification, and that's what we were just talking about, Larry. Friggin', and there's Mrs. Prophet checking in. She's watching on YouTube though, so I don't know if that shows up or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, we're going to talk. We got the award show tonight. That goes on live 9:00. They're doing the red carpet right now. All the big names are out. I don't know if the Super Bowl guys are there or not. I'm not sure. We'll talk about that. We'll do our own little picks.
Did Kanye's wife
don't talk about Kanye West. No, that unbelievable, man. Like, what? I don't know. As a husband, I don't think I would want to have her on display like that, and as a wife, I don't think I would want to be on display like that. But different strokes for different folks, I guess. So,
friends of Diddy.
You still will catch me blowing my nose here and there during the shows.
Yeah, just don't do it too hard. You might lose some of that brain matter.
Yeah, that would be the last. That would be the last thing I want is a blowout on camera here. But let's talk about. Listen, obviously it's the Eagles versus the Chiefs. It's the matchup that the NFL wanted, right? I think we can agree there. No matter who we prefer to see, I just felt like it was always going to be the Eagles and the Chiefs, right? So obviously the past 2 weeks in, my area everybody's been a little giddy, a little chipper. There's been a pep in everybody's step. And I want to get something off my chest that pissed me off.
Here we go already.
we already called a 2-hour delay on Monday for most of the schools in South Jersey and in Philadelphia. Okay. My district hasn't yet, and I don't believe that we will. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But a lot of districts have called a 2-hour delay for Monday, citing, camaraderie Saturday or Sunday night. It's going to be a long night. Everybody's going to be up late. Everybody's going to be tired. First of all, I don't agree. Okay. I don't agree with this because not everybody watches football. Okay.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
On Super Bowl
not
Sunday,
everybody
they
watches
do so.
football. Not everybody gives a crap about the Eagles or the Chiefs or who wins the damn Super Bowl or this, that, or the other. Okay, that's one of my qualms. My other one is my wife doesn't get a 2-hour delay at the hospital. Joe at the Crab Shack doesn't get a 2-hour. Well, the Crab Shack's probably not open at 8 a.m., but Joe at Wawa or the convenience store doesn't get a 2-hour delay because of the football game because he was out partying all night. Okay. You go to any other job and you're going to work on time, and you have to go to work on time. So, like I said, most of the people have a 2-hour delay. I don't. So this affects me how? My 4-year-old daughter. I drop her off every day at before care because I have to be in work before she has to be in school. So I drop her off every day at before care at 7 a.m. and her school doesn't start until 8:45. So now 2-hour delay on Monday and there's no before care. So she goes in at 10:45 where I have to still go in on time. My wife still has to go in on time. Now I got to find childcare. So now you're friggin' making me work for childcare for 2 hours for a Monday morning because you're going to delay the school because of a football game. Whatever. That's my personal issue. Now, on the other hand of that, I see people online and they're complaining that, there's like, everybody's got the town groups on Facebook and stuff like that. And the town groups posted the notification from the school and, it says, hey, 2-hour delay, this, that, the other. And then you got jamokes that are just posting on that saying, oh, they value they value football more than my child's education. Now, shut the hell up. We're serious here. And there's people going crazy about this. They say this is what's wrong with our educational system, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, yeah.
2 hours. It is 2 hours, and it's a delay. It's a condensed schedule. It doesn't mean your kid's missing anything. It's a 2-hour delay. Get the heck out of here with your stupid comments about devaluing the education for a football game. You're absolutely out of your mind. It's a ridiculous statement, and I voice my opinion. If you saw me on Facebook, I voiced my opinion on that. I just think it's ridiculous how some of these people react. Now, you're saying everybody watches football on Super Bowl Sunday. You seem to be agreeing with this 2-hour delay then.
I did not say that. I said everybody watches football on Saturday on Super Bowl. Okay.
Yeah. But they don't.
But
not everybody.
200 million people out of the 350 that we know about in the country watch football. Okay. So
there's a lot less in the country now, by the way.
Let's not start that. but that's football.
Anyway.
But is it any different than, the game starts at 6:30. Granted, there's 100 more commercials and halftime's a half hour instead of 15 minutes. Okay. But the game's still over by 10 o'clock. Get your ass in bed and get up for work.
Listen, I get that, but not for nothing. I'm in bed before 10 o'clock.
Well,
we'll end this podcast and I'll go up and I'll go to bed and I'll be probably asleep by 9:30 anymore. and that's my life.
On a
Yeah,
normal night, I am also Sling. But guess what? On Super Bowl, if the game is good, I watch it till the end.
yeah,
You
I
know, if
hear
it's a
you.
so, but even with that, I mean, what? Because people need to go out onto the streets of South Philly and tear the freaking city apart. You
That's
know,
crazy. That's
uh,
crazy because after the NFC Championship game, like even people in my friends group were making it a point to be like, "Oh, I'm on my way over to the city. I'm gonna go." I said, "For what? Why are you doing that? They won the NFC Championship. This is what everybody expected, right? So you're celebrating them going to the Super Bowl like this? Kid died. 18-year-old kid
yeah,
died.
fell off the pole, right?
Yeah, and they almost like memorialize this uh pole climbing where they say, oh, they make t-shirts out of it, grease the poles. Like, no, just don't climb the poles. It's illegal and it's vandalism. And now somebody wind up dying, a poor 18-year-old kid. It's crazy. Like these people, I don't know, man. I'm seeing videos of like people saying how much destruction they're going to do if the Eagles win or lose. Probably there's going to be
Right.
friggin' riot.
Oh,
Who knows? But
the,
the absolute shambles that took place after the game on Broad Street or wherever street you want to call it, after the Eagles game a couple weeks ago is out of control and it's ridiculous.
well, you'll probably have 300,000 people on the streets if they win,
Oh,
and
they
a
said
hundred
more
and
than
a
that.
hundred 150,000 if they lose.
They said there was more than that last 2 weeks ago. They were estimating close to 1 million people out there.
And what were they doing? You know, just out there causing problems.
Fighting cops,
Right.
climbing poles, lighting fires. It's ridiculous,
It's
Prophet. It is, and I sound like that. I sound like I got the old man syndrome now. Like these damn kids. But it is what it is. But
unfortunately Sling. It's been going on for years, and I still remember when Shaq and Kobe. Uh, when Shaq and Kobe won, the championship out in LA, man, they just tore that city apart. Like, your team just won a championship. Why are you setting fire to your city? And
right.
that's, what, 20, 25 years ago? I mean,
Excuse me. I
it,
forgot to hit the mute button.
what they need to do is they need to get the fire trucks and, just
Just
open
start
full
spraying
blast on
people.
people. Yeah. And, you know, I mean,
That would be
I think
great.
that would help.
Yeah, that would be awesome. You just start spraying people.
Then I would watch the news. I would try and get some kind of feed from Philadelphia to watch that. Yeah. I don't want to see a bunch of idiots, climbing poles and setting fires to the city. I
Yeah.
mean, come on.
Well,
But
that being said, have you watched any of the coverage all this week at all? Like I haven't. Like I could, if I didn't know that the Eagles were playing, I wouldn't even know that there was a game this week. And I feel like it's
I,
got like the same vibe as the college national championship did. I'm just like, oh, there's a game on Sunday. Like, yeah, okay, cool. Like we're gonna watch it. I don't know. Are
it,
you getting any of that at all, or have you been
it's
following
been
along?
it's been very hypeless, this year for some reason, and it should be one of the better games, in the Super Bowl. These two teams, should put on a good show, but no, I mean, I turned on the NFL Network Monday night, um, and Goodell was on, and I can't stand Goodell, so I turned it off, and I haven't gone back to it.
Yeah.
Now,
You know what?
I mean, you see bits and pieces on the feeds and all when you get on the computer, about different things that are happening, but yeah, no, I have not followed it at all.
What bothers me is they do these media nights, and some of these questions that these credentialed, and I use in parentheses, credentialed reporters are asking, um, you would never ask a man to their face in a closed environment. Let's just put it that way. When you say to Travis Kelsey, what do you, uh, or when you say to Patrick Mahomes, blah 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 blah. Who's your favorite referee, or what referee helps you guys out the most, or something like that. You should be slapped in the damn face.
Yeah, I
Same thing with
agree.
Travis Kelsey. Travis Kelsey had a ridiculous question. He actually didn't answer it. He took offense to it. Um, I can't remember. I'm going to look it up, but some of these guys that are out there just asking questions are ridiculous, and the fact that they get press passes is beyond me. It's like a free for all out there.
Sling, you know what? There ain't any journalists left in this country, man.
Mm,
It's you know they're all freaking idiots. They they're all
no,
opinionated idiots. Nobody reports news. Nobody reports sports as it is. It's all about trying to get that one story or get them
well,
clicks.
yeah,
It's a shame. It
yeah.
really is.
Well, speaking
Uh,
about Travis Kelsey, I can't find the actual question, but what do you think, Prophet? If the Chiefs win, do you think he does it? Does Travis Kelsey? They're talking about him potentially
Proposing.
dropping. Yeah, I was trying to make it sound like I was going to say retire, and then I was going to surprise you with proposing. But
Oh,
uh, yeah. Anyway,
sorry.
yeah. Do you think he's gonna? Do you think he's gonna pop the question or what? I think there's a strong possibility.
I honestly think right now she'll say no. There's trouble in River City. My sources are telling me, man.
Really?
Ever since, yeah, and it's a shame because I told him, I said at the beginning, I got 13 plays for this Sunday, and three or four of them involve Kelsey, and things aren't well right now, considering the fact that my sources are telling me that he went out and said he's happy that the president is showing up for the game and watching them play, and
Really?
Taylor's not Taylor's not real
No,
happy right now.
no, he did not. Did he?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Oh
him
boy.
and him and Patrick, man, they're
Listen,
ecstatic that the president's going to be there. Yeah,
can't say too much about him. Love him or hate him, he's doing what he said he was going to do. And not for nothing, I will applaud this yesterday on National Girls and Women's and Sports Day. We finally have women's sports back, so
yeah.
kudos to
That was, you know
him for
what?
that.
That was
I
huge
mean,
for me.
that's
That
got
was
to be
huge for
that's got
me
to be
too.
bipartisan there, no matter what side of the fence you're on. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
let's have some common sense and let common sense prevail on that one.
That was huge for me too because now I know at least for the next 4 years I don't have to worry about going to jail for that reason. So I'm happy.
I don't know. I don't know. That went over my head. I always thought you were going to be happy because I thought you'd be pissed actually because you got the World Cup coming up and you could have got a good play on some of the teams that had a couple dudes on the squad.
No, no, no. I don't want to see my grandkids, have to deal with that crap. And
Well,
yeah, that's for at least
hopefully
four
it's
years where they don't have to. So
yeah.
that's why I'm
Hopefully
happy.
that's out of the realm, but. We'll talk about the Super Bowl in a little bit. Let's talk first about the awards and let's kind of go through our awards ceremony. I know it starts in about 40 minutes here, and they're going to be naming all kinds of awards: MVP, Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year. There's a ton of them. We're not going to talk about them all, but I would like to kind of go through and give a couple of our Prophet awards here. Prophet Sling'n Proffet Awards. Let's talk about first of all, let's talk about the Coach of the Year, the finalists in real time. Coach of the Year, Dan Campbell for the Lions, Kevin O'Connell for the Vikings, Sean Payton for the Broncos, Dan Quinn for the Commanders, who announced that the Commander's name is going to be staying. It's not going back to the Redskins, and Andy
Oh
Reid
crap!
for the Kansas City Chiefs. Prophet, we'll go to you first on the Coach of the Year. Who do you think should take home? Who do you think should take home the award? I know how you like to get technical on these
No,
things, but
and I got technical again on it today. So I have a who should win and who will win.
oh boy,
Okay,
yeah,
and Who should win is Dan Campbell, and who will win is Dan Campbell. Uh,
And why do you say Dan Campbell?
well, I mean, 15 and 2 record. Okay, considering the fact that, yeah, okay, they were healthy, with the exception of losing Montgomery for a couple of games at the end of the year. Offensively, they were healthy, pretty much all year. But defensively, I mean, they had injuries from damn near day one, and they overcame them. And he ends up, taking this team to a 15-2 regular season record, which is what it's based on. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's not based on the fact they got spanked by the Redskins in the first
Well,
round for them, but
uh,
uh,
it's just like you're talking to a jury. Jury's not so if the prosecutor says something a little bit out of line, and the judge tells you don't take that into consideration,
uh,
you can't really forget that.
right, you can't,
You can't
you
really
can't
forget
undo
that.
it.
So,
You can't
uh,
unhear it.
right, well, and you can't unsee the debacle that went down for the Lions in the playoffs, and quite frankly, a couple years in a row now for them.
Right.
So you got Dan Campbell taking home Coach of the Year. I'm not going that direction. My Coach of the Year here will be going to, somebody that never expected to be there. How do you not go with Dan Quinn? Because just like you said, it's based on the regular season, but you've always got to see the whole picture here, Prophet. And what Dan Quinn did with this Commanders team and a rookie quarterback was nothing short of remarkable. Granted, they went out in Philly and they we
Laid
all
an
know what
egg, but
happened. We
yeah.
all know what happened. But this team's got the potential to do a lot of harm over the next few years. And nobody, like I said, really gave them a chance to do it this year. And they came in, they had a great year. And like I said, I think Dan Quinn is deserving of, I mean, you can give it to Andy Reid every year if you want. Go ahead. Give it to Andy Reid. Sean Payton is another one. He could, he deserves some conversation in that
Oh, for
category.
sure.
I mean, O'Connell, you can make a case for too. Campbell, I think, was the easy pick, but I just don't like. I said, I just don't like how he's been ending his seasons. Pete Powell
Well,
checks in with Sirianni. Let's talk about that. And it's a good
well,
point.
you know,
Why is
okay.
Sirianni not on that list?
Well, here's the reason. Before we go to Sirianni, okay, here's the reason that I don't think Quinn, is deserving. And don't get me wrong. I mean, yes, the Skins had a great year. I mean, he went in there and
Commanders,
turned. Huh?
the Commanders.
Oh, please don't interrupt me with that crap. they they had a great year, okay, but with Campbell was a coach in the NFC North, which, I mean, Chicago, they had a terrible year, but they played Detroit tough two games. Minnesota made the playoffs. Green Bay made the playoffs. And they just marched through that division, the best division probably in football this year. They marched through it where he didn't get to play Dallas and the Giants twice.
Yeah.
So
Well, listen. Let's talk about Sirianni because, like Pete said, our buddy Pete, and if you don't remember Pete is the owner of Advanced Sports. He's the one who sponsored our yearly Run Your Pool pick 'em all week or all year. So thanks for checking in, Pete. Pete's also a diehard Eagles fan, so I'm sure he's checking in tonight to see what we have to say about the game, and we will talk about it, extensively. But Pete makes a great point. Philadelphia was calling for Sirianni's head in
yeah,
October, and myself included. Okay, because this guy was a clown. They weren't playing well. He was smug. He was arrogant. He shaved his head. He came and he brought his kids up on stage during the press conference to deflect any questions from any tough questions by bringing his kids up. He was, like I said, arrogant. He was ignorant to reporters, and then all he does is reel off Um, however many in a row. Holy smokes! They just what a year they've put together, and you can't question it. Um, why is he not
Absolutely,
on the list, Prophet? Why is he
because
not even on the list? Is my question.
because of all the things you just mentioned.
Oh boy.
Okay, that's why. You know, you look at all the other names on that list, and for the most part, these are pretty classy guys. You know, Sirianni is a classless individual, and you know, we're not going to commend that kind of behavior in the NFL, is what they're saying as a head coach. Yeah,
I was
come
gonna
on, he
say
was out.
you
You
have
missed
to
one too. He was having an argument with with his home team fans the one game during the game.
you got to clarify that statement because you said we're not going to condone that kind of behavior, but literally, you know, there's the behavior of a lot of these guys is not
Oh,
great.
well, that is the behavior. You know, it's a pick and choose when you want to enforce a rule. You know,
Right.
uh,
Yeah. I mean, I listen, Sirianni, you could certainly put him on the list. He's not a
deserving
finalist.
for sure.
He's not a
Deserving for
finalist for
sure.
whatever reason, but hey, maybe he goes out and steals it and wins it and nobody expects him to win it. But let's talk about comeback player of the year. Okay. And I'll go first on this one. Comeback player of the year. I'm not going to go with DeMar Hamlin, even though every time I turned on the Bills game, I saw DeMar Hamlin. Like I thought the guy was on the verge of not being on the team anymore. Well, he was a couple years ago, but I mean, literally, I thought they were ready to cut him this past year, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but yeah, I guess people can make a case for that. I'm going with Sam Darnold. Okay, my comeback player of the year. Um, wasn't even supposed to be the starter. They drafted JJ McCarthy. All the hype around McCarthy in camp, and JJ was supposed to be the starter. He goes down with an injury. Nobody expects anything from Sam Darnold. He comes in and just to the tune of 4,300 yards and 35 touchdowns, and just kind of dominated while he was there. Granted, didn't get it done in the playoffs, but hey, we're only judged on regular season here, right? So,
Right.
my comeback player of the year is Sam Darnold, kind of written off, and nobody gave him a chance, and here he is now, and just playing extremely well. Simple as that.
No, I again, I got the who should and who will, and you know, this pick is also the same. Darnold should and Darnold will, but I would not be the least bit surprised if Hamlin gets it. I just would not shock me in the least. But
Didn't he play
how
last year?
yeah, he did, but that doesn't matter. I mean, and Joe Barrow being on that list too. I mean, Joe Barrow, from strictly from a number standpoint, you know, should be a comeback player. But I mean, he missed what, 4 games last year, 4 or 5 games at the end of the season. So does that technically make him a comeback player? I mean, Darnold's basically been out of football for a few years now.
Right.
Uh,
No, I think, like you said, I think it's Darnold. I'm sorry. Who did you say who's gonna win it?
I said Darnold and Darnold.
Oh, so you're really going out on a limb. What are you looking at my sheets over here or what?
Yeah, I am. I'm looking right over that yellow box there, and I can see
Hey,
everything.
what yellow box?
Oh,
Anyway,
we're
we're
at,
moving. Let's move to our defensive rookie of the year. Okay, this could go a couple ways. I think there's a couple guys that are deserving of this one. Um, I'll go to you first. I'm still on the fence about a couple guys, so let's go. Let's go to who you got in this one for defensive rookie of the year.
well, you know what? I tell you, there's yes, it could go a couple of different ways, but when you look at the numbers, Sling, um, there's really only one choice here, and it's Jared Verse. I
Oh
mean,
man,
he
that's who I
had
was picking.
well, you know, it only took 22 weeks, but you finally started to freaking listen and learn. I mean, I'm happy to hear that.
Doesn't make for good television when we're agreeing on stuff. Anyway,
I
I
mean,
got good. I got Jared Verse too. I think it was for me. It was between Jared Verse or one of the Eagles DBs, whether it was Mitchell or DeJean. Um, both of those guys had really good years. Every time I turned on an Eagles game, it was like I don't know. I saw Mitchell making a play on a receiver. He's got 12 passes deflected on the year. That's pretty impressive. But no, I think Jared Verse was the most influential at his position as a rookie. So I'm going with Verse as well for the Rams. Excuse me.
maybe we'll disagree on the next one.
Maybe we will. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Finalists for this one: Brock Bowers, Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Bo Nix, and Brian Thomas Jr.
That's a hell of a rookie class there, bud. Offensive
Really,
players.
yeah, really is. I'll go first here, and I'm taking Jaden Daniels as the Offensive Rookie of the Year. I know Brock Bowers. Yeah, I mean, Larry says, what about Barkley as a comeback player of the year? I mean, if you think about it, he's coming back
Mm,
from playing for the
come,
Giants, quite
come,
frankly.
yeah.
I mean, like
Again, what determines a comeback player?
right. I mean, but he has had injuries. He has fought the injury bug, but he played. We talk about it now. It's like, oh, look what the Giants gave up, and he wouldn't be doing this with the Giants, and that's just
No,
as simple as that. So I just don't think that he would have been successful with the Giants this year, obviously, as he was with the Eagles. But Jaden Daniels, 3,500 yards, 25 touchdowns, only 9 interceptions, and he does it with his legs too. Rushing for the season, almost 900 yards and 6 touchdowns. So this guy's a dual threat in every sense of the imagination. He's just, he's got to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. Who do you got?
well, okay. Who should win it is Brock Bowers. Who is going to win it? Brock Bowers. Uh, I mean, the guy set the rookie receiving record playing on a team that had Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew as his quarterback this
I don't
year.
know why you say it
Uh,
like that. Those are two quality
yeah,
slingers back there.
yeah, two quality slingers. So much so that Tom's looking to franchise his whole future this year to get a quarterback. Um, I mean, Bowers was a phenom on the field, and don't get me wrong. I mean, like I said, all five of these guys are really deserving. I think least deserving, and only because of the quarterback situation, was Malik Neighbors, and he had a pretty damn good year.
Yeah. Well, they both
Yeah,
broke. They
but
both broke the
they
record.
both broke the record, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think Brock Bowers is deserving. They're all deserving. I think Brock Bowers walks away with this one, though.
Not like you said, it's a hell of a rookie class, and there's more. There's more to it. I mean, you just look at the defensive
Sure.
side too. But yeah, let's move on here to. Let's go to Defensive Player of the Year first. Excuse me. Let's go to. I'm going to you first here
Okay.
on Defensive Player of the Year.
My who should win it, okay, is the guy that had 173 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, and 2 interceptions.
That sounds like
And
a good year.
yeah, and his name is Zaire Franklin, but he ain't on that list. I
Yeah, the
mean,
finalists here: Zach Baun from the Eagles, Miles Garrett from the Browns, Trey Hendrickson from the Bengals, Patrick Surtain from the Broncos, and T.J. Watt from the Steelers.
and I actually think that Sertan is going to win the award, and undeservingly so. I think Of the five, I would say Hendrickson is the one that deserves it the most, but I think Sertan is going to win it. But Zaire Franklin, how that man was not a part of this voting is beyond me.
I don't understand. I mean, is it based on stats, or what the hell do they base these things off of?
Well, it's certainly not stats because nobody came close to him in his stat. I mean, hell, he had 2 picks. Sertan had 4 picks this year. Sertan, I think, had 42 freaking tackles.
Yeah, he did, and this is crazy because I didn't know that Franklin had that many tackles, and I'm looking at the stats, and I'm just like 173 tackles in one season, 93 solo tackles, three and a
Ridiculous.
half sacks, five forced fumbles, 2 interceptions. That's crazy.
And he doesn't make the list. I mean, I can't explain it.
Yeah, stuffs. I don't know what the stuffs stat is. Is that tackles for loss?
Yes,
He had 16 and a half of those. But
16 and a half tackles for loss. That's a sack basically.
yeah, Larry says as long as it's not Watt.
Yeah,
I
no,
got for defensive player of the
not
year
this
too.
year.
I think it's going to be Sertan just for the fact that it's going to be Sertan in my opinion. 45 tackles, 4 interceptions. He's got a 100-yard pick six, 11 deflections. Just somebody you're not going to throw on, and he can kind of shut down any opposing number one receiver. But again, defensive backs, they win it just like quarterbacks win MVPs a
Right.
lot. They're just more flashy, and I think that's the case here for Sertan. And Sertan's just in the limelight, and he'll take it home.
Exactly. And just like 2 years ago, I mean, the rookie of the year, I mean, Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner, his numbers sucked in compare. It was Hutchinson. He, I thought Hutchinson because we did it on the blitz. We did this on the blitz, and I thought Hutchinson was going to win, and they gave it to Sauce Gardner, and Gardner had nothing in
Yeah.
comparison to the numbers. But
Now Gardner, people are questioning Gardner. That's a whole nother topic. Is he as good as everybody thought he was? Because he kind of got exposed a little bit this year up
a
there
little
for the
bit,
Jets. We'll see. We'll see what happens up there in New York. Who got that job again? Aaron Glenn. That's right. If anybody's going to get Gardner right, it'll be Aaron Glenn there. Let's go on to Offensive Player of the Year. All right, I'll go first with this one. Offensive Player of the Year, the finalists, according to NFL.com here, Saquon Barkley, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Derrick Henry, and Lamar Jackson. Offensive Player of the Year. I'm going with Joe Burrow, Offensive Player of the Year. 4,900 yards passing, 43 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Just had a really solid season. And the player that I think was the actual Offensive Player of the Year, I have as MVP. So I don't think that they're going to give it to both. Proffet. What do you think about Offensive Player of the Year here?
yeah, I agree with you with Burrow. Burrow is my who should. Okay, but Burrow's not going to win it. Who will is Saquon Barkley, and he's going to win this award only because they're not going to give him the MVP.
Well, that'll take us to our MVP conversation. And MVP of this year, the finalists, Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, and Lamar Jackson. And listen, you gotta be realistic here. Who deserves the MVP? Proffet? It's
Who deserves
Saquon.
who
Saquon
deserves it?
deserves the MVP. That's who I think. That's who I think should get it, and that's how I'm basing my opinion. I mean, he put up crazy numbers, and if he wasn't such a selfless player, he could have broken the record.
He should have broken the record, and I blame Sirianni for that. I totally get it. You have to have Barkley for the playoffs and all, but guess what? the all-time rushing record does not come around but once in a lifetime. And in my mind, there was no doubt in the world he was going to get 101 yards against the Giants in Week 18. And Sirianni did not give him a chance because Sirianni took what he said after that Sunday game on Week 17, where Barkley was like, "Yeah, whatever you got to do." But after Barkley thought about it, Barkley, I would have liked to have played in that. And they didn't give him the opportunity to break a record that, like I said, you might see it in the next 10 years. You might see one more person come close to it again.
Yeah,
Uh,
and like you said, you make a good point. It's a once in a lifetime thing, and I didn't even think about that. Like you're talking about maintaining your health into the playoffs for something that could, put you in the history books forever.
right.
I just think that he was the Eagles' offense this year. The Eagles go as he goes, over 2,000 yards rushing, 13 touchdowns, and some of the most crazy acrobatic plays that I've seen in a long time.
Oh,
And I didn't really listen. I was one of the guys that wrote him off. I didn't think he was going to come into Philly and have the year that he had. No chance, no way. But yeah, I think Saquon. I got Saquon as the MVP.
well,
Curious,
okay.
curious to hear your opinion here.
That being said, Lamar Jackson is going to win it. And I think this is going to be his third one. Yeah, as much as I hated to say that, I honestly think Lamar Jackson is going to win it. And if you look at his numbers, okay, his numbers are definitely MVP worthy. But, but, and that means forget about what I just said. This is what I really mean. Lamar Jackson is not a great quarterback in my mind. I mean, I watch him, I see him just miss too many easy throws to be considered a great quarterback. The fact that the man can run with the ball, does not make him a great quarterback.
Yep. Listen, it's quite possible. It's quite possible that they do, but I think maybe I don't know. Maybe this year there's too many other viable options to where they can't justify giving it to Lamar simply because he had an amazing season on the numbers.
Mm.
You know,
I hope you're right, and I
you can
hope
make they could. NFL has listen. Here you go. NFL has the opportunity tonight to do the right thing and to name the deserving player the MVP of the league. And that's Saquon. They have that opportunity tonight. Are they going to do it? History tells us no.
And guess what? I mean, I look here, and Larry says Joshua Barkley, and I totally agree. They are my number 1-2 picks. And if you look at the numbers, Allen had as good a year as Lamar did with less. Okay, neither one of them had a great receiving core, but Baltimore had an 1,800-yard running back. And James Cook had a great year, don't get me wrong. But you can hand the ball off to a 250, 260-pound beast that can take it 80 yards. I mean, that makes your job a whole lot easier. I think it's Allen or Barkley, but, is the two most deserving. Barkley is my one, but I still think Lamar is going to get it.
All right. Well, that'll wrap it up for our awards segment. This chair is really starting to hurt my tuchus. Anyway, that's our awards segment. Well, again, time will tell. We'll find out here in the next hour or two who's going to take these awards home. So we don't have to wait very long. We're going to find out in real time. Let's turn our attention here to the big game on Saturday. A few short days away. A lot going on down there. Obviously, Proffet. The tensions are high. Everybody's in Everybody's in a good mood, having a good time down there, partying it up in New Orleans. Kellen Moore is going to be the new head coach of the Saints, so he's just going to stay in New Orleans after the game. I don't know that to be factual, but I'm just being a little facetious. The offensive coordinator for the Eagles, by all intents and purposes, will be named the new head coach of the Saints after this game. Talk to me a little bit about the build-up. Is it the game that you wanted to see? Are you expecting a good game? Or does this have the possibility to go really one way or the other in somebody's favor?
Well, you just asked me a whole lot of questions there. Okay, is it is it the
Is it the game
game?
that you wanted to see?
Is it the game I wanted to see? No, I wanted to see the Eagles in Buffalo. Okay, is it the game I thought we were going to be seeing? Yes, I said it 2 weeks ago. Eagles and Buffalo. I mean, Eagles and KC were going to win. You said it best. To beat a man, you got to beat the man, and Buffalo just can't get Patrick Mahomes down when they're in the playoffs, and they're until they figure out how to do that, it's going to be a long, career for Buffalo. Um,
Josh Allen just looks dejected after that game, by the way.
yeah,
Just
well,
like a broken man.
I mean, you beat him during the regular season, and he's done it 3 or 4 times now, But when you get into playoffs, you can't beat him. Now, do I think it's going to be a good game? Absolutely. I think it's going to be a great game. Can it go west? I think if it does, it's going to be the Eagles blowing them out. I do not think there's any way, shape, or form Kansas City wins this game big. Um, you look back and doing a lot of research the past 2 weeks. Okay, Kansas City gave up like 150 yards rushing to Houston. They gave up 150 yards rushing to Buffalo 2 weeks ago. And now they got to play against the number one running back in the league with an offensive line that is far superior than what Houston and or Buffalo has. Um, I mean, Kansas City's small up front.
Yeah.
They can be pushed around, and I think the Eagles are going to push them around. I
And
think
that's the thing too, and everybody's been talking about the Eagles offense and can KC slow them down. And I think if you're the Eagles and you're able to spread out that defensive secondary a little bit for Kansas City, you take a couple deep shots to Devontae or to AJ Brown, you stretch the defense a little bit, you get them on their heels. Hey, who knows? You can throw a couple 50-50 balls, they don't go your way, but maybe you get lucky with a pass interference here or there. Now you're stretching that secondary out. Those linebackers are taking a step and a half back a little bit. Their first step might be into the pass coverage rather than a run read. And Saquon Barkley's not that guy that you want to give
right.
that extra half step to. All right. So if anybody's got the advantage here offensively, I really do think this year the offensive advantage goes to the Eagles.
I agree.
2 years ago when they played, I didn't think I didn't really think that there was any doubt that the Chiefs were going to be able to beat them. This year coming in, the fact that the Chiefs are a 1 point favorite, I think it lines at 1 now, isn't it, or is it still 1.5?
It went back up to 1.5 the last I saw it, but it's
Yeah,
been fluctuating.
I don't know how the Chiefs are the favorite in this one. To be honest with you, you got what do you think
Well,
about that?
well, 2 weeks ago, after the Eagles won against the Skins, I started doing some figuring, and I came up with the Eagles as a 1.5 to 2 point favorite against Kansas City, and a 3 point favorite against Buffalo. And then Sunday night after the KC Buffalo game, I saw that Kansas City was a 1.5 favorite. Man, I jumped all over that line. I think we have a wrong favorite in this game. Um,
So
I
you're
do
saying you got a lot going here on the birds
on the bird. Yeah,
with the points now.
I've got it both ways. I got the money line and the points.
All
The
right. Well,
point.
I guess that goes for, trying to get your prediction. I was trying to hold off on that, try and dissect the game a little bit, but
Well, that's what we're doing. But
so we got here. I'm looking at some numbers here,
well,
and there's some numbers out here that have like projections. A lot of these scoring projections have got the Eagles average score prediction coming in at 25.2 versus the Chiefs average score prediction coming in at 26.9.
and that's where you got your point and a half. I mean, that's how Vegas sets their. I do the spreads every Monday morning, and just by simple mathematics, and probably if there's 16 games that week, 14 of them are within a half a point that I come up with. No,
Prophet, you got to talk for a minute because I'm in the middle of something that I just found, and this is amazing. So
okay.
give me a
Well,
second.
the what I think is a huge part of this game this coming weekend on the offensive side of the ball for the Eagles is Kenneth Gainwell. I didn't look at his status yesterday when I looked, he was still in protocol, but they haven't practiced, before yesterday. Um, I'm just not 100% sold on when they have to give Barkley a blow, Will Shipley coming into the game. I mean, he was a great college running back. He hasn't really seen the field too
He
much
broke
this
that big
year.
run. He had a
I
night. Well, I guess it was against that was in slop time, but
but I just don't know that you want to rely on your third string running back. When Barkley's going to be on the if Gainwell doesn't play, Barkley's going to be on the field a lot more than he should be, which is going to hurt him late in the game. Kenneth
and
Gainwell is going to be a huge part of this, whether he plays or not.
the reason why I asked you to talk a little bit, I'm on this news article here. Excuse me. I'm on this news article from NFL.com. It's a breakdown of the game, giving you some trends, giving you the lines, blah, blah, blah. It has predictions from 21 quote unquote experts, former NFL players, journalists that you're so fond of. We talked about earlier in the show. 21 of them gave predictions. How many of them picked the Chiefs to win?
No, I don't know. I'll say 17.
21 gave predictions. 21 picked the Chiefs to win. There is not one expert on this NFL.com article that picked the Eagles to win.
Yeah. How many of them? How many of them
David Carr,
21 hit it
David Carr,
77% this year?
David Carr to name one. Brooks Sasamo, Jeff Chahida, Christian Gonzalez, Maurice Jones-Drew, Bobby Cognac, Gerald McCoy, Dan Parr, Lance Zierlein, guys that you've heard their names before. 21 people and 21 picked the Chiefs. That's insane to me.
Yeah. And guess what? Like I said, there ain't a one of them that's hit 77% this year consistently documented. Okay. So what they're saying means absolutely nothing to me. I
I could
understand
care
Kansas
less what
City.
the point of my comment was not to dispel you. It was to
Oh,
tell you that
I
nobody's giving the Eagles a
nobody
chance to win. I don't
nobody's
understand it.
nobody's giving the Eagles a chance to win, but yet Kansas City's a point and a half favorite in this game. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Okay.
Yeah.
The
I was telling the group chat today, and my group chat is full of, well, there's two, there's five of us, two are Eagles fans. Um, we'll get right into it. I mean, we're rounding up our discussion about the game here. I could see the Eagles winning this game by 4 to 6 points. And like you said earlier, if there's going to be a blowout, I don't anticipate there being a blowout. But if there's going to be a blowout, I would think that it's the Eagles' offense that's just gonna roll versus the Kansas City offense. You just look at the run game. Kansas City doesn't have the run game that the Eagles have. Travis Kelce's Travis Kelce. He just doesn't. He's a reliable target. He doesn't. I don't think that he's a game changer to the fact where he's uncoverable. And you talk about
well,
the receiving core.
well, the main thing
Whose receiving core is better?
definitely the Eagles. I mean, now that Hollywood Brown's back, Kansas City has some names, okay, but Hollywood Brown hasn't done a whole lot since he came back. Hopkins hasn't done a whole lot since he got traded there. Worthy is hit and miss. Uh, Kelsey is the man though, to be honest. And if there's somebody that's going to beat the Eagles, it's going to be Kelsey Sling. I mean, you look at now against Green Bay, nobody did anything. Okay, offensively for Green Bay, but against the Rams, Parkinson and Higby both scored. Against Washington, Zach Ertz had 14 catches.
Yeah, something
You
like
know,
that.
they're not doing well covering the tight end. So that's why I'm thinking that Kelsey is going to have a big game this week.
Larry, I
And
say 1.5 flops. By the way, for for uh for Mahomes.
well, they don't have their officiating crew this week too, so that's a good thing.
All right,
But
let's run through a couple. Let's run through a couple prop bets here, and then we'll get our official selections, and then I'll let you talk about your picks for the game. All right,
okay.
let's just have some fun with some prop bets. I'm just gonna roll through here. Saquon Barkley over 10 rushing yards. You think that goes over or under?
That's a brutal number. I looked at that, man. Uh, I think it's going to go over, but man, just to get an even money bet, you're dependent on your running back having a 100-yard game in the Super
Yeah,
Bowl. Yeah, that's tough.
yeah, that is tough. I would say under. I would go under here. I think he could have a solid game rushing for 97 yards.
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts 211.5 passing yards. Hmm, 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 hmm.
well, based on the fact I think Barkley's going to have a big game, Hurts ain't going to have to throw the ball much. So I think I'm going under with that one.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm staying away from that. Can you see my face? Let me see. I'm not on camera. Yeah, you can see my face. Here's an interesting one because you said he didn't think he was going to he hasn't been productive. DeAndre Hopkins over 11.5 receiving yards. Dude, I'm throwing a
I
couple bucks on that, man.
I like the over in that one.
Yeah, I mean 11.5. Come on. Dallas Goddard. Here's another one. 51.5 receiving yards seems a little high, but I think that they're going to try and use him if they can. Philadelphia will. I don't know. That seems high though for a tight end. I'm going under there.
Yeah, I like the under on that one.
There you go. Xavier Worthy, anytime touchdown scorer, plus 150.
I mean, that's a
AJ
possibility.
Brown
But
and AJ Brown, anytime touchdown scorer, plus 175. There's a play for you.
again, another possibility. But Yeah, nothing I'm crazy about.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize that those prop bets sucked that I was looking at, but I'll let you take it away and tell everybody what you got going on. And I know you said you only got three. If they email you, then you'll get the whole list, but you'll give three here tonight. So what do you
Yeah.
got here?
Okay. Well, going back to
Well,
2 weeks.
hold on. Let's do our predictions first,
Okay.
and then we'll go into that. I think it's going to be a good game. I hope it's a good game. I could see it. Like I said, if it gets carried away, I could see it going in the Eagles' favor. I got the Eagles in this one. Um, I got the Eagles 31 to like 20-27. I think it's going to be a little higher scoring than people think. I got 31-27.
And I got the Eagles in this one 27-20.
Hmm.
I think it's going to be an under game. Yeah, it's going to be close. I wouldn't bet the under, but it's going to be it. I don't think it soars past, and I don't think it stays real far under either. I think you bet the total in this one. I think you'll be biting your nails the whole way.
All right, let's talk about what you got betting wise here.
Okay, well, 2 weeks ago, and we don't have. I neglected to put it up on the screen, but 2 weeks ago, I went all in on AJ Brown, as you will remember, scoring 2 touchdowns, 1 touchdown, and 70 yards receiving. AJ had a big game that day. He did not score two for us, but he did cash two of our tickets. We brought back 713 on that day, which brings my current balance for the year up to $3,459. Now,
You say 3,400
$3,459
from 1,500?
from 1,500.
Wow. I wish
Uh,
I did that in real life.
uh, um, that's why I've been eating steak a lot lately.
Yeah, yeah. The secret is being able to hold on to it though, and not playing uh German ping pong at 3 a.m. when you're up and you're bored.
Yeah, well, hey, so that's fun sometimes, yeah. Plus, betting on the ponies over in France and England is also fun. Yeah, it's all turf racing, but it's fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay. Anyhow, this week I'm going with $300 plays, guys. Not getting crazy for the show. I mean, I told you I jumped all over the Eagles 2 Sunday nights ago. Um, I'm taking the Eagles on the money line here. I'm wagering 100 to bring back 200. It's an even bet. Uh, Probably 95% of the Super Bowls, the winner covers the spread. I think the Eagles win this game, so why lay the juice? Why give the juice to the book? Um, this game, I've been saying a lot about how I think the game is going to play out, and all 13 of my bets this week are based on the game playing out this way. And this one, I'm taking Patrick Mahomes over 275 yards passing. I'm wagering 100 to bring back 254. He's a plus 154 over 275. I think Kansas City's going to have to throw the ball in order to have any chance this weekend. And with that being said, this is the one I like. I like a whole lot here. Uh, I'm wagering 100 to bring back 600 in DraftKings. Go under game leaders to get this play. Mahomes, Kelsey, and Barkley. And what that simply means is Mahomes has to out throw Hurts. Kelsey has to be the top receiver, which I think he's going to be this week, and Barkley has to be the top running back. Uh, it's a 5-1 bet. 100 brings back 600 on that play. If this game pans out the way I think it's going to, Barkley and Mahomes are a given. It's just a matter of whether Kelsey is going to get in there. And that's what I said. I'm a little concerned with the rift that's going on between him and the Swifty. but I think he'll have that in place come Sunday.
I don't know, Prophet. I think he's got that ring. One of those ball boys is going to have that ring in their back pocket just in case the Chiefs are able to get it done. You might see a little bit more than just confetti flying there after the game.
Well, for their sakes, I mean, if they're in love, I hope him proposing does not depend on them winning the game this weekend because
It just might
again,
depend on where he proposes. That's all.
right. But you said it 2 weeks ago. To beat a man, you got to beat the man. Nobody has been able to beat the man in the Super Bowl lately. I think that ends this week, though.
Well, as my buddy Mark says in the group chat, you don't get rich by betting against Patrick Mahomes. So we'll see how it plays out. For your sake, Prophet, I hope that doesn't hold true. You got a lot going on the Eagles. I'm picking the Eagles. Yep. They want something to clip up, boys. You watching the show, you want to hear something? I got the Eagles in this one. I think the Eagles are going to win, and I think they're going to win in relatively easily fashion. I got them by 4 points, but hey, wherever you're at, I think – what do you got, Prophet?
No, I was just going to say, the big thing is we both agree on not only the Eagles winning this, but we both agree that if there is a blowout in this game, it's going to be on the Eagles
Well, I
side.
just think that the Eagles offensively are better.
And the Eagles defensively are better also. Like I just don't see the defense not keeping them in this game also if need be. So yeah, I think it's the Eagles' year this year, guys.
Could have been the Commanders' year. I think we would have been okay with that.
But again, guys, that was 10. That was 10 of the 13 plays that I have here on my sheet that I have already started putting. I mean, yeah, it was 3 of the 13. I'm sorry. That there's still 10 more. I'm going to be shocked if I don't hit 11 of these 13 plays this weekend. So
damn, you heard it there.
Shoot me an email. You'll want the rest of them.
You heard it there. Prophet calling out 11 out of 13.
Yeah.
I'll wrap it up for another episode of Sling'n Proffet. Wherever you're watching the game this weekend, make sure you're doing it safely. All right, if you're out there drinking, you're not driving, take an Uber, get a friend to drive you home. Have fun, be smart. If you're a teacher in South Jersey, except for myself, enjoy that 2-hour delay while I'm scrambling trying to find childcare for my 4-year-old. Again, whatever you're doing this weekend, do it with people you care about. Have fun, be safe, everybody. Enjoy the big game. We'll catch you next week on a Sling'n Proffet podcast.
Love you guys. Enjoy the game and be safe, like Sling said.